To get to Edinburgh from our little village in East Anglia, you gotta catch a train to Peterborough. From Peterborough, you catch a train up to York. From York, there's 2 routes up to Edinburgh by train. One of them, which we accidentally took, is much longer, goes west from Newcastle across to Carlisle, following along the path of Hadrian's Wall for quite a bit of it, with blink and you'll miss it, archaeological sites like that one. It is all day on a train, but it's pretty comfortable, the views are pretty, and before you know it, you're pulling into Edinburgh. Once we'd checked in, we left our stuff at the hotel and headed off to go walk up Calton Hill to take in some of the views. They seem to be going for something like an Acropolis vibe, with the Scottish National Monument here, modeled after the Parthenon, built in the 19th century. And so, after a long day of travel, this stunning view wraps up day 1. As they so often do when we're traveling, day 2 begins with coffee in a bakery. A couple of friends from the States happened to be in Edinburgh at the same time, so we set out across town on foot here to the castle to meet up with them. It seems that records aren't real clear about when the first stronghold appeared up on this rock above Edinburgh. St. Margaret's Chapel, built in the 12th century, is the oldest surviving building up on the hill. Romanesque arches like this one hint at significant antiquity throughout. Mons Meg looks as dangerous now as it did 565 years ago when it was first built. This is the line for the Scottish crown jewels and the Stone of Destiny, on which Scottish kings used to stand for their coronation until the English snatched it up and installed it in their own coronation chair. It was only returned to Scotland in 1996. This is the Royal Scottish Academy. The exhibits we went in to see were small, easily consumed in a visit, but just packed with unbelievable masterpieces. Amazing work from the likes of Monet, Gauguin, and beautiful little sculptures by Degas and by Matisse. One painting on display in the museum is a known fake, and they give you this entry card to fill out with your guess as to which one it is. We each filled it out, took a guess, and we're both wrong. Immediately adjacent to the Royal Academy is the Scottish National Gallery, with Baroque paintings, Renaissance masters, and more. Like this Botticelli, this vibrant piece by Titian, and of course, this masterpiece by Da Vinci. Jamie's enjoying this pensive Vermeer, and the piercing gaze that John Singer Sargent gave Lady Agnew. So, our thirst for art slaked, we set out to address a different kind of thirst. At Badger & Company, we had a snack and a quick drink, and the waitress recommended for the best cocktails in town a place called Panda & Sons. So we set out through the brightly lit and characterful streets of Edinburgh to find potentially the most unique cocktail bar I think we'd ever been to. The signature gimmick at Panda & Sons is something called a switch, where they freeze a given kind of liquor, remove the water that's frozen out of it, and replace it with something flavored. So we'll start with this smoky concoction, and maybe we'll gather some impressions about what everybody thinks.
Christmas in a can.
Wow, that's good. That's really
So here's the, what is this one?
That's the Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. That is so good. It reminds me of a little
That's Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, that's you, baby.
That's all you.
That's a good drink. That's
It's not too hot.
Well, after last night's cocktails, we are ready for some coffee. After breakfast, we set out to go find the Botanical Gardens across town on foot.
Admission free? That can't be true.
Oh, but it is one of the best deals in Edinburgh. The Botanical Gardens free. At the top of the little hill in the gardens is not only a beautiful view, but a nice little cafe where we stop for some coffee, tea, and a little snack. Leaving the gardens, we set out to find the picturesque Dean Village by way of a cheese shop.
Banana food, because that's quite firm.
What you got? Dean Village is a picturesque 19th century mill village. Picturesque is about all there is to it. There's a guy selling coffee from a cart. And as far as I can tell, that is the only thing going on in Dean Village, aside from an awful lot of cute scenery. So it doesn't take long to visit. You show up, get a couple pictures, take in the ambiance, and move on with your day. The walk back towards town goes through several of these Georgian housing developments. It feels a lot like Bath, really. For lunch, we popped into this largely unlabeled Indian place and got a wrap, of all things. Jamie got avocado on a bagel. Typical Indian food. It's good. Next, our tour brings us to the Mansfield Traquair Center, which is currently an event space, formerly a church in this neo-Romanesque building. The church fizzled out a little while after it was established, but what endures are these phenomenal murals painted by Phoebe Anna Traquair in the 1890s. Religious, but not a member of this church, Traquair painted some interesting things, such as this evolutionary sequence. Next, we set out across town and past the Scottish Parliament to try and make it to the Holyrood Palace. It was closed, but the Queen's Gallery wasn't, so we went in to check out some of the royal collection. It's a beautiful facility with some fantastic art. I was looking forward to getting some great video until... Ah, dear viewer, no recordings. Oh well, you'll have to use your imagination. In the same way, you'll have to imagine just how delicious this dinner was. Our last day started like pretty much all the other ones did, in a bakery with some coffee and some pastries that are good, but maybe just a little heavier and breadier than you'd get somewhere else. Maybe that's a Scottish thing, I don't know. So after breakfast, we headed back for the train station. This time, we were hoping to take a different route. We would skip the 125-mile-an-hour tour of generally where Hadrian's Wall went, and this time, we hope to take the train down the coast to see what we expect to be some pretty fantastic views. Also, at 125 miles an hour in the Azuma. And on that note, with the expected high-speed, pretty views, our trip wraps up. Thanks for watching.